many others are misled.
So look, people. So look, people. People been talking about Ryan Reynolds for I don't know how long, for about a couple of doggone weeks. Y'all already see what's on the screen. Y'all already know we about to talk about it in the first place. So Justin Baldoni releases bombshell never before seen Texas from Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, in lawsuit for focused website.
Or they have the TBS breakdown where he talks about Trump. And the only thing I say is, okay, well, tell me what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, what policies today and that are working right now that should have earned our votes. They start foaming at the mouth, they get to shaking. F you. Trump is horrible and run away. And I'm not talking about old people, young people, I'm talking about all of them.
Justin Baldoni has his receipts. The It Ends With Us actor and director 41 launched a new website over the weekend with alleged unseen texts between him and his co-star Blake Lively, who is suing him for sexual harassment, and her husband Ryan Reynolds.
The first new media guide for students for Barack Obama. Great boss, charming Muslim from Kenya.
Did you hear him just call?
The site titled Lawsuit Info links to an minute version of his $400 million lawsuit against Lively and Ryan Reynolds and their publicist Leslie Sloan. Reynolds is accusing the trio of defamation and extortion. Out of all people, Ryan Reynolds. Baldoni's website also links to a 160-page document outlining the timeline of events before and after the filming of It Ends With Us, which he filed in court as an exhibit to his amended complaint. The 168-page court filing includes never-before-seen texts and emails that Baldoni allegedly exchanged with Lively and Reynolds, who, according to Baldoni, steamrolled him during the making of the movie. On the messages between Baldoni and Lively from April 2023 shows them discussing a rewrite for the film's iconic rooftop scene. Lively allegedly wrote to her co-star, "If you knew me longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting will play. It's my love language, spicy, playfully, bold, never with teeth." And so these are the text messages. New script coming to you shortly. We worked on a lot of the yeah, you guys can see those actual text messages. So excited to read Monday. Love the Sparkle Pass.
Non-binary. Looked like he was about 4'8". Oh my God! Checked all of the boxes. A little overweight. Checked all the boxes. Got 0 votes. These people get on my nerves. They make me sick.
So, Blaney, what I want to just say is this. This is not surprising at all because, of course, this is Ryan Reynolds. And the fact that everybody broke down the movie clip in Deadpool and Wolverine so thoroughly that you would have never had no idea that he was making fun of another celebrity in the first place. But this is not nothing really surprising from Ryan Reynolds this person basically punched Denzel Washington and gave him 2 black eyes and cracked about it. So Ryan Reynolds definitely is a person that should be bullied. It needs to be bullied because he needs to be shown that he's not what he may think he is, you know. One of the messages between wait, I already read that. There you go. So yeah, those are the text messages, and here's some more text messages. Just hired an intimacy coordinator who I love. Will set you up to meet and FaceTime with her next week for intro. Like, just hired an intimacy coordinator who I love. I feel good. I can meet her when we start. Thank you though. He said, I feel good I can meet with her today. Okay. So he liked those. Just wanted to tell you about this. Seems she doesn't want to meet intimacy coordinator until we start, which may mess up the workflow, but I can still meet with her, of course. So this dude is going out of his way to basically try to compensate with her, try to work with her and everything. But she only doing this because she won't rights to his doggone movie. That's the wild part. Let's watch this one right here.
Ryan Reynolds' relationship with Blake Lively is under a lot of speculation. Now that they are in an intense legal battle with Justin Baldoni, people are taking a closer look at their past. And they're starting to realize that there's a bizarre way that Ryan shows his love for Blake, and it's starting to read more like resentment than resilience. So let's get into it. We're going to be diving into this theory that Ryan Reynolds actually cannot stand his own wife, Blake Lively. I mean, right now it seems like the world is turning against her, but can you imagine her own husband turning against her? I mean, if you look at their history, he's made really bizarre comments in the past, which is why I wanted to make this video. I feel like Ryan tries to come off as the charming guy who makes fun of you because he's got a crush on you. But after having several kids together and being married, when does it end? Because it seems like Blake's been a problem for a long time. Like, for example, posting this picture of this painting and saying, if there's ever a fire, I'm grabbing this first, and then I'll come back for Blake. Now, we will dive into more of Ryan's weird comments. I mean, I would be offended if my husband was talking about me like that on social media, but I want to briefly remind you how these people got together. Let me take you back to 2007 when Blake Lively was dating Penn Badgley, of all people. I don't know why, but I don't see them as a couple, but they dated for 3 years until she was hired for a movie titled Green Lantern. By the time Green Lantern had wrapped, Blake and Penn had split, which adds another layer to speculation about what happened on the set of Green Lantern, because Ryan was with Scarlett Johansson. They were married from 2008 until 2011. By that time, Ryan stopped.
Come on, YouTube, really? You gonna turn around and start doing that? You gonna have to watch some ads.
At that time, Ryan starred alongside Blake in Green Lantern.
It was funny because for about a year after Green Lantern come and Donald and stuff, and we were both single. We went on a double date she was on a date with another guy and I was on a date with another girl, and that was the most awkward date for their respective parties because we were just like fireworks coming across it.
Well for him. I don't know fireworks for me.
Now, there is no absolute proof of infidelity, but we have seen time and time again what happens behind the scenes when there's a love interest and they have to act like they love each other and then they just end up falling in love. A theory suggests that while filming Green Lantern, Ryan and Blake became emotionally and possibly physically involved. At the time, Scarlett was frequently working on her own projects, which of course Scarlett Johansson is a big star. I mean, I think she's a bigger star than Blake ever was or could be. Now, that's just my opinion, but in December 2010, they announced their separation. In July 2011, they were divorced, and guess what? In October 2011, he was publicly dating Blake. So if the cheating allegations are true, I mean, shoot, maybe you find him and you lose him, and this, like, it ends with us is going to be like kind of, the end of Blake and Ryan, but that's not what this video is about. I just want to give you guys some context on how they met and what they left behind. He left Scarlett Johansson, she left Penn Badgley, and now they are together, and quite a force to be reckoned with. Once upon a time, Ryan and Blake were widely regarded as one of Hollywood's most beloved couples, known for their playful banter and frequent trolling of each other on social media. They built an image of fun, loving, and easygoing. It kind of reminds me of like what John Legend and Chrissy Teigen tried to do, but they are cringe as hell. Did you see the clip of them trying to sing to the firefighters? Like, it was just a time and place.
Maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, oh.
Imagine this. You've been in an accident or someone you love has been seriously hurt. Suddenly you're facing a mountain of medical bills, paperwork, and insurance companies that don't want to pay what you deserve. Now, what if I told you there was a simple solution to this nightmare? Getting compensation when you are entitled to can be tricky, with many personal injury firms giving you the runaround, drowning you in paperwork and settling for less than what you deserve. But it doesn't have to be that way. This is where Morgan & Morgan steps in. As America's largest injury firm, they've modernized the entire process. With over 1,000 attorneys across all 50 states, they have the resources to take on big insurance companies and give you the money you deserve. And trust Me, they don't settle for low ball offers. Just this year, they secured a $26 million settlement in Philadelphia, 40 times more than the highest insurance offer. And there are plenty more stories like that. You can just fill out a simple form in minutes. No appointments, no complicated paperwork. Everything is done from your phone. Plus, it's totally free unless you win. Morgan & Morgan makes the process easy and stress-free. You can head over to forthepeople.com/phone. You can also find that link in the description below to get started. Remember, the process is free unless you win. Thank you, Morgan & Morgan, for sponsoring this video, and enjoy. So we get it. Blake and Ryan have this humor that they like to upplay on social media, and when they're speaking about each other. But I feel like within the humor, there's a truth to it, which is why it's kind of funny. But now looking in hindsight, I'm like, damn, seems like you guys almost hate each other.
The best thing that has ever happened to me. Second only to this star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Now, there's this viral TikTok that is explaining Ryan's humor, which kind of seems like it comes at Blake's expense, and there's some underlying resentment there. I am a person who can detect resentment if I am feeling
everything that's been going on
it in the room. I'm going to detect it. I'm going to call it out. And it seems like Ryan does feel some type of way about her. While their banter is undoubtedly a cornerstone of their public persona, critics argue that the frequency and tone of Ryan's comments sometimes diminish Blake, painting her as the punchline rather than his equal partner. And part of the reason why I feel like he left for Blake was because he didn't want an equal partner. Scarlett Johansson would have been that, and he wanted to feel superior.
I am fully convinced that there has to be a connection between
dominant culture was
humor that
so
this couple
rigid
specifically
and
coined,
politically correct.
direct line from that to millennial women finding out via TikTok that their husbands hate them. It's not even that they found out on TikTok, it's that they married husbands that hate them because they incorrectly categorized as cute and funny and like what Ryan Reynolds does, but really your husband is this whole like public spectacle that
We were seeing something bubble up.
In West Village, wearing my hands.
Frustrated with the way you currently file your taxes? Switch to TurboTax Full Service. You'll be matched with a TurboTax expert who will do your taxes from start to finish as soon as today. And they'll only sign when they know it's 100% correct to ensure you get your best outcome guaranteed. Plus, with Refund Advance, get up to $4,000 instantly in as little as 60 seconds from IRS acceptance. Switch to TurboTax Full Service. Brand Power, helping you buy better.
that they've been playing for the last 10 years. And the media outlets completely lashed onto it and was like, couple goals. 20 times Ryan totally owned Blake on Instagram. And it's like him posting bad pictures of her and being like, my wife is a piece of shit. This type of behavior being sort of the gold standard for couples in Hollywood equals women just marrying downright mean men.
I mean, the internet is forever. Your kids are going to read it one day. Do you really want them to see this? Like, 3 of the most beautiful, considerate, and loving people I've ever known. And then there's Blake, like a big F you to the mother of his children, wishing Billy Ray Cyrus a birthday tweet, saying have a special and magical birthday. I love you with all my heart. Also, happy birthday to my wife, which I'm when it comes to like Valentine's Day, you have to ask me to be your Valentine. I don't even care for dating. I'm so needy like that. So if you're going to tweet that on a birthday, I would be, there's no dinner on the table that night. Let's go through some of what social media is saying. This person commented, somebody said sarcasm is hostility disguised as humor. Another person wrote, it stemmed from if he's mean to you, he likes you. We heard it as kids. Another person adds, sarcasm and teasing is only a love language if it doesn't include humiliation. And then finally, she met a gentleman. She fell for him, but wasn't reciprocated, so she sued him. Speaking of Justin Baldoni, because I don't know about you guys, but I really do have a gut feeling that there was some kind of feelings developed between Blake and Justin, maybe more on Blake's side, and Ryan noticed it, and that's why we're in a deep lawsuit. Mariah Carey gets involved. Oh no, not Mariah Carey. On Blake's 34th birthday, Ryan tweeted about singing Mariah Carey's hit Fantasy, calling it his favorite thing that's ever happened on August 20th. 5th. While clearly it's another joke, this post seemingly overshadowed Blake's big day, sparking conversations about whether his humor lacks sensitivity. And I feel like I'm not one to comment on things, but if I was a commenter, not like, I was out slow being here, doing my thing, also buying breakdown hats on sale until the end of the month, January 31st, I would comment like, who cares? Now, there was a joke that Ryan had made in the past about
you just need the right tool.
Using Blake as a human shield. Kind of reminds me of those men who
receive tasks, overwhelming paperwork, and never-ending spreadsheets.
who walk in front of their girlfriends. Comment below. Are you guys dating anyone who, like, your man walks in front of you instead of behind you? Like, aren't the gentlemen supposed to be behind you? No, he's willing to use her as a damn shield. He's going to war. He's gonna. Let's break this down. In the early days of Ryan's savagery, the Deadpool actor told David Letterman shortly after the couple's first daughter, James, was born, that his priorities had shifted. I used to say to Blake that I would take a bullet for you. I could never love anything more as much as I love you. I would say that to my wife, he said during a February 2015 appearance on the show. And then he continued, and the second I looked into that baby's eyes, I knew the exact moment that if we were ever under attack, I would use my wife as a human shield to protect that baby.
I used to say to her, I would take a bullet for you. I could never love anything as much as I love you. I would say that to my wife. And then the second I looked in that baby's eyes, I knew in that exact moment that if we were ever under attack, I would use my wife as a human shield to protect that baby.
Now, as I said at the start of this video, I did not like that comment about the fire, especially with these damn LA wildfires. Like, you don't know whose house was affected. I believe that Justin Baldoni's lawyer's house burnt down or something. So, I mean, I don't think that the timing is off here, but you wrote then it fire and grabbing this first, and then I'll come back like, which one is that? Is it really worth it? Like, look at that picture. That's how you know you're a real person, because you're grabbing a picture of a boy throwing a newspaper and a suburbia. Look, basic life is so like foreign to these people. The most not even a mansion. Picture that's not a mansion. Just the most basic picture of the most basic little newspaper boy throwing a piece of that's all he's running for that. That's real rich people stuff right there. He's running for that. Okay. Wow.
Like here he goes. There's a fire. I'm grabbing this. I'll come back later. And I have to believe that this led an entire generation.
Yes.
Like when a man was just outright being like Ryan and like
kind of that cute little dynamic where he sort of bullies
he's like flattering the photos and I just like that.
Now March 2017 on Good Morning America, Ryan said my wife is very good at cooking. Jake might just be a little bit better. When the host Michael Strahan suggested that Blake might not be happy about his assessment, Ryan responded in the most bizarre way, saying, "I'm moving out at the end of the month. I'm actually moving out right now under this desk. I'm making plans." I feel like they are the kind of couple who, when they get into a fight, they talk about like divorce or breaking up like right away. It's like within the first like 2 minutes. I mean, shoot, I think I would be too if my birthday post every year sucked in 2019. He posted a bunch really unflattering photos of his wife. And again, it's just like not really cute. I don't really get the appeal of it. Maybe people like this. Comment below. Are you girls like, oh, I wish my man did that for me? I don't think there's one person out there that would say that. I mean, maybe he's just not that funny, so that's his way to create humor. Other people question if it's mutual, because it seems like also talks crap about her man, from trolling his hairstyling skills to mocking his fashion choices. However, Ryan's humor tends to dominate their public exchanges, with Blake often left to react or play along. Maybe she's just not as witty as Ryan is. But Ryan did discuss being trolled by Blake in August 2021. Asked by people if he was trolled on the internet, Ryan responded, "Oh God, yes I do. Are you kidding me? I live with one. My wife trolls the crap out of me. Why would I go online? I've got it here at home." And you guys are going to kill me, but I actually watched A Simple Favor last night with Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively, because I need to do my research, trying out here to get you guys like the most accurate stuff. And I made quite a viral statement about that movie on Instagram. If you guys have not followed me at Sloan Hooks, so I needed to go and do my homework. But this article reads: when Blake wanted to cheat on Ryan with Anna Kendrick. She posted on Instagram, Anna Kendrick is the hotter female version of my husband, so would it really count as cheating? Ryan took the blow in stride, saying the most ambitious crossover event in history. I'll miss you both. Tell my story. Now, Ryan was part of a movie called Detective Pikachu, and he posted on Twitter in 2019 a clip of his voice, and Blake ragged on her husband's job, saying that he did not do well. Quote, I mean, he didn't even change his voice. It just sounds like him. And when Ryan suggested that their daughters would respect his work in the movie, Blake laughed him off and said, we're not going to see that. Here are some more weird jokes when Blake and Clyde should rather be coupled with Gigi Hadid instead of Ryan. On Gigi's 26th birthday, it looks like they're celebrating together. She posted a picture on her story of herself sitting between her husband and her pal, saying, I think you and I make a much better couple. When Blake bought ESPN Plus to watch Ryan's game meltdown, she wrote, I bought ESPN Plus today just to watch my husband experiencing anxiety live. It was so worth it. So when she makes fun of him, she's definitely coming for his work. Maybe that's a little bit of an insecurity because he is so outrageously successful. Now, there's a fine line between humor and criticism, showing love and, shaming it. And I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys find yourself in relationships like this? Do you think it's healthy and normal? Do you think it's part of their PR plan to appear likable or relatable? Most people on social media do not have a great reaction. This person commented, made this love and never find me. And another person writes, this should actually be a scientific study. Another person writes, the way my husband's love language is really roasting people, and he would never publicly shame me, even in a joking way like that. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are undeniably a power couple for now. We're going to see what happens with this Ends With Us lawsuit, because it seems to get messier and messier by the day, but you guys requested this video, and I came to deliver. So thank you for tuning in. I love you guys so much. But I didn't bring down hats around sale until January 31st, and then we got a special surprise in February. I'll be down in Florida, so I'm excited for that. I love you guys so much. We'll see you in a new video soon. Bye, guys.
We are one of the largest traders in the world, not just the United States, but in the world. Texas is our own economy. And now our biggest trade partner, Mexico, is saying, you know what, we're going to slap these tariffs on. What does that mean? Those businesses
so
trade are now going to
Ryan Reynolds is just
may not be buying those items.
he's just a terrible guy. He's just a terrible guy. But I know you hear this in the background, so we about to go look into that shit.
Thanks for that as well, Representative Jasmine Crockett. We'll see you again soon.
Cause what the hell is she talking about? How's you gonna lower this doggone gas? Doggone prices. I'm gonna lower these prices.
Hi, excuse me, miss, hello. What if I told you I could get you some money right now?
I wouldn't believe you.
Okay, let's.
Contrast between JD Vance.
Jasmine Crockett on Elon Musk.
Things, and we're talking about someone who's unelected, unvetted, and definitely unconfirmed, that is now literally sitting atop our $6 trillion, and we don't know what it is that he's doing, and we honestly don't know what role he has.
Look, you have well articulated some of the bad thoughts as you described them at the top here. The question is, does Musk's team now have the power to actually disrupt federal payments?
In my opinion, they do, but I honestly don't know. We still don't know really what Doge is in the first place. I mean, listen, think about it like this, Alex. You know, everyone hates Congress. That's just what it is, right? But as a sitting member of Congress, I mean, I had to give up my ability to practice law. I am prevented from being able to practice law to prevent potentially somebody dropping a load of cash on me and I do something that is nefarious as one of 435. And now we're talking about a guy who literally gets government contracts from the United States and has not had to divest, has not had to, I mean, it is really awful. And I know right now people are asking whether or not their IRS refund checks are going to be affected. We don't know if this is more DEI. Are you going to say if it's somebody that's a person of color, then for some reason, whatever they paid in to the federal government, they're not allowed to get it back? Like, we don't know, but there is no reason for any political appointment.
So now, Jasmine Crockett is speaking on Elon Musk.
Let me with the fact that you are also
Now that he top Treasury official exits as Musk grabs for federal payment system.
They're out of a job. And now the DOJ wants names of those who worked on the Trump or January 6th investigations for possible firing. What do you make of this apparent cleansing?
I mean, you just called it what it is. It's a cleansing. I mean, listen, when Democrats got out there and we said that our democracy was really at risk, people were like, oh, Democrats, you're out there, you're gaslighting. It's not our democracy. Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, it's just Trump.
Oh, but there is no reason for any.
He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal.
But there is no reason for any political appointee, if you can even call him that, to have this kind of access. There's none.
We have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we
now a newly minted member
may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
Shut
This was me struggling to keep up with posting consistently on YouTube and making less used than once until I found Spotter Studio. Spotter Studio is an AI software built to help YouTubers come up with video ideas, titles, and thumbnails based on data that leads to better performance. It analyzes everything about me, my audience, my past videos, the ones that overperformed, and the ones that didn't. So here I'm looking at videos my audience is watching, and if I click brainstorm on this video, I get ideas on how I can create something similar but in my style. Look.
So we have only been in session Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Now, a newly minted member of the DOJ subcommittee. Welcome, my friends. Good to see you. Let's get to what you'll be doing serving on this committee. It's led by Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene to provide oversight to DOJ's efforts. Do you know why they went after access to the federal government's payment system?
That silently or in the background.
I have no idea, but I don't have any positive thoughts when it comes down to it. I appreciate that you played the clip of Jamie Raskin, and as Congressman Raskin asked, why do you need access? I mean, here it is. I'm a wholly, fully elected member of Congress. I don't have that kind of access. So when you start talking about who should have access to literally the system that controls approximately $6 trillion of our dollars, I don't really understand, because the people that worked in those positions could only distribute money per the law. So why is it that the DOJ committee would have to have access? And that's not the place that you go to look for cuts. You look at our budget, which it is Congress that has the power of the purse. You look at our budget, you help the president come up with his proposed budget, and then the House and the Senate will decide what we send to his desk, and he gets to decide whether or not he signs it into law. He should.
But do y'all do that? No. Y'all don't do nothing but spend more money. And if the president turns around and says no, you willing to shut the government down.
He was saying that it was going to take the cost of.
They almost shut the damn government down over this damn spending bill. The last spending bill.
His attitude about it was, allegedly the Republicans don't like to do taxes. So why are we raising?
We should not have access to this. And with people already having angst about Elon Musk and the things that he does as it relates to technology, this is not instilling anything more than another layer of fear, especially since normally when you are going to be in a position like that, you have to go through security clearances. And let me tell you, some people think security clearances are all about whether or not you have a warrant or not. No, they look at whether or not you have some sort of divided interest. They look at whether or not you have good credit. They look at so many other things. And we're talking about someone who's unelected, unvetted, and definitely unconfirmed that is now literally sitting atop our $6 trillion.
The man turned around and created something you would never be able to create called SpaceX.
Reality is that every single city that I've campaigned in, I would ask people.
What is we talking about here? You are sitting congressman and you probably get paid. I don't know how much you get paid, but you probably get paid millions of dollars just based off of that.
Now let's talk about the foods that we get out of Mexico. Whether
Do this woman have any businesses outside of Congress?
Let's talk about what that's going to look like when Mexico says,
No.
oh, okay, well they put a tariff on it. All that's being passed on to us, and then
This man been turned around.
in my state of Texas, where we are one of the largest.
Damn, I forgot what he did with PayPal. He used to work with PayPal.
And now our biggest trade partner, Mexico, is saying, you know what, we're going to slap these tariffs on. What does that mean? Those businesses.
Then he actually turned around and bought into SpaceX and made it better than what it was back then. Made it better now.
It's always sobering to talk with you. I have to say.
And honestly, you don't even get the security. Man, don't none of y'all motherfuckers get the security clearance. You don't run any doggone businesses. This man done turned around and done bought into SpaceX, made it better than what it was before. He bought Twitter and made it better than what it was before, actually profiting more nowadays. And so what in the world in the hell is this dumb what in the world in the hell is this woman talking about? What in the hell is this woman talking about? And then she keep talking about checks and balances. You talking about the same checks and balances that y'all often break before you pass a bill? See, the thing is, people like her and other politicians think that people are dumb. Because when they pass certain policies, she want to talk about checks and balances. All right, so you want to talk about checks and balances? Okay, so from now on, every time you guys come up with a spending bill, you need to expose it to the American people before you pass it. But do y'all ever do that? No. That's why Elon Musk did what he did on Twitter with the last spending bill, because you threw a 1,500-page spending bill at the people, and then you only had like 8 to 10 things that would have actually benefited the American people.
Y'all see what we're talking about? We're talking about Cheyenne.
While everything else was about your personal agendas.
This is what made me cringe, because Pastor Holy Whore has been known to get around in the street. But this is
Talk about, we need to follow the checks and balances. What checks and balances? Because y'all asses ain't been following none whatsoever.
She was on Cam Newton.
You don't even post any of the bills that you turn around and pass on social media. Or even to the people in the first place.
I hold off watching the full thing so I can talk about it with y'all.
What in the hell is we talking about?
I
when talk about the checks and balances, I get that there is checks and balances, but you can't turn around and sit here and talk about checks and balances when half of your team don't even follow them. Okay, so when talks about checks and balances when it comes to the law, okay, Joe Biden just pardoned his whole doggone family, but I bet you she'll be quick to turn around and say, "Oh, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me, and I'm not supposed. It ain't got nothing to do with me," and she probably would defend it. She probably would defend it. They ain't gonna never stop calling Donald Trump a convicted felon because guess what? Letitia James, Fonnie Willis, I'm pretty sure them all her girls, they went after him to try to get him off the ballot because they ain't like him. They felt he was racist. They felt that he was racist and misogynistic, and they tried to use all of that against him.
Everybody wants, and that's love. It is the word that
in the first place.
Songs have ever been written, and the most amount of.
But why would you think that a person who took SpaceX and basically turned it into $1 billion company and turned it into $1 billion company, why would you think that they don't have the security clearance that they need?
Have a platform that allows us to come on here and really give tips and tools in a way.
See, this is what happens when people are starting to realize that certain levels of power are being basically achieved, and they were not the ones to achieve it. And they were not the ones to achieve it. Who's to say that George Soros, that if George Soros had access to federal funds in the government, she would not be sitting here saying this. She would not be sitting here saying this.
We call it dysfunctions. So that we can shake up our community in a way that
none of them wouldn't be saying this at all, but because it's not happening on their side.
I like the way you think. I like the way you communicate.
And Donald Trump got the power, and now all of a sudden it's a bad thing. We in the oligarchy now. But we've been in the oligarchy for about 4 years straight.
John Maxwell said, if you want to be like, sell ice cream. And so thank you for
the same political party you vouch for has acted as an oligarchy for many, many doggone years. Censorship, forcing people to basically identify their pronouns, forcing people to turn around and say, "Oh, you can't tell a child whether or not they are a male or female."
No, I think that the recipe to finding love is not looking for love. The Bible says it best that love is not enough to sustain.
Trying to emasculate the American men who you turn around and claim don't support you.
I think we lack that in our Black community because
in the first place.
And I don't want to just say single
Black women, white women.
I want to recognize them. They're just as important.
You try to emasculate those same men. But now all of a sudden that Donald Trump is in office, we live in the oligarchy because of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and all these billionaire men that have now gotten the power. Wow. Wow. He don't. Wow.
So to get through those things, I said, no, your mother raised you to be able to protect yourself the way she had to protect herself for being a single mom.
And these are the same people that will turn around and say that they care about women, but then in the same breath will tell women, "Oh, you should be okay with a man basically undressing in the same space as you."
So in this marriage, your wife is now a mommy's role, not in mothering you, but in having to be emotionally
same space as you. oh, you can't turn around and criminalize this person because they're an illegal immigrant and they are seeking asylum.
Never resumed or presumed the role of husband for 17 years. And he looked at me and he said,
This the same political party that believe taxing the rich is going to get something done.
See, this is what I want to kind of look at. What makes her?
If I were to turn around and I was running $1 million business, let's say I was in the state of Texas and Texas just so happened to start raising up their state taxes. You know, it's easy for me to turn around and get up and leave versus somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck versus somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck. Because I can get up and go to another state where there's lower taxes. Right?
We know that how that shows up in women.
But then let's look at the people who are living paycheck to paycheck that are also infected by you raising up state taxes in the first place.
You know, get in situations where we're like out of survival, which speaking about, I think we always spoke about that. That's one of the things that we hate about ourselves is that
you know what I'm saying? And these the people that actually believe that their socialist ideologies is going to get anything done or make America even great again. And it's not. It's actually would tear down your country. And you almost voted for communism, didn't even know it. Didn't even know it. Because you would have been dealing with a government that would have been walking around here censoring everybody for things that they don't like, hiding information that the people are very much deserve to know about, like information that's going like information that's going on with all these wars outside of our country. That's information that the people in this country definitely should know about. But you guys don't approve of that. Anything that's thrown out on y'all behalf is considered misinformation and conspiracy theories.
When we go back to the church, why are we not talking about the difficulty of Jesus carrying his cross?
Right?
Why are we not talking about the difficulties of Sarah?
Almost every time Republicans say something about y'all, what comes out to be a fact is that some of the shit that they be saying is true. A lot of it. A lot of it.
They always want to throw the Bible in her fucking face and some remix scripture.
$1 billion, and we don't know what it is that he's doing, and we honestly don't know what role he has.
Look, you have well articulated some of the bad.
I'm glad that she said that. He has access to over trillions of dollars that we pay into, and we don't know what he's doing with it. That sounds very, 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 very fucking familiar. That sounds very familiar. Coming from the same political party who turned around and allowed two congressmen, one was Republican, one was Democrat, to actually go into secret door behind closed doors, come up with a ridiculous ass spending bill, and then expected for it to get it passed through Congress in 24 hours. Tried to turn around and sneak that motherfucker, tried to sneak that doggone spending bill right up under our nose. Right up under our nose. This is the party of, oh no, that's misinformation and that's conspiracy theory. And basically not knowing exactly what, or basically hiding information from the people. Now all of a sudden, that your ass is not in the White House. Now you afraid. Now you scared. Now you all of a sudden we don't know what he's doing with this $6 trillion that he has access to. You don't know what he's doing with these federal funds. We didn't know what y'all was doing. We didn't know what y'all. They literally have a government accountability office that was so inadequate and incompetent that Trump had to come up with Doge. How do you have a government accountability office that's so incompetent that the next president had to come in and create something else that is the exact same of that? Because the Government Accountability Office and Doge is both the same thing. But since the Government Accountability Office is not doing their job, that's why Trump had to create Doge. And put Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk in charge of it. Or better yet, Elon Musk now, because Vivek is running for governor of Ohio. This is, I cannot make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. The hypocrisy. We have an oligarchy. Ma'am, you've been a part of the oligarchy for so long. You've been a part of the same political party that has done the same thing that you're talking about right now. Where's your Government Accountability Office? Right? They're supposed to be in charge of this, right? So
bad thoughts, as you described them at the top here. The question is, does Musk's team now have the power to actually disrupt federal payments?
We can help them individually.
In my opinion, they do, but I honestly don't know. We still don't know really what Doge is in the first place. I mean, listen, think about it like this, Alex. You know, everyone hates Congress. That's just what it is, right?
You still don't know what Doge is in the first place. It's the opposite of what your ass had, which is called the Government Accountability Office. That's what it is. It's a brand new version of the Government Accountability Office. That's what it is. We still don't know what Doge is. Girl, be quiet. Sit down.
But as a sitting member of Congress, I mean, I had to give up my ability to practice law. I am prevented from being able to practice law to prevent potentially somebody dropping a load of cash on me and I do something that is nefarious as one of 435. And now we're talking about a guy who literally gets government contracts from the United States and has not had to divest, has not had to, I mean, it is really awful. And I know right now people are asking whether or not their IRS refund checks are going to be affected. We don't know if this is more DEI. Are you going to say if it's somebody that's a person of color, then for some reason, whatever they paid in to the federal government, they're not allowed to get it back? Like, we don't know, but there is no reason for any political appointee, if you can even call him that, to have this kind of access. There's none.
But as a doctor, I want to hear your resolution to that. Where did that lead us as a people? Do you think that we're
Great
better
Spectrum
off?
Internet customers. Now you can try Spectrum Mobile risk-free for a full year at no cost to you. Bring your own device and we'll pay off your phone balance up to $500 per line. Plus, upgrade your phone anytime, as many times as you want when you get Unlimited Plus.
You're not being worth enough to be in a relationship with the basic ass average woman. Because she feels like she deserves.
Let me move to the fact that you are also a member of the Judiciary Committee, and since Donald Trump took office, multiple top FBI officials and federal prosecutors who all worked on January 6th cases, they're out of a job. And now the DOJ wants names of those who worked on the Trump or January 6th investigations for possible firing. What do you make of this apparent cleansing?
I mean, you just called it what it is. It's a cleansing. I mean, listen, when Democrats got out there and we said,
you know what? It's funny that when they talk about January 6th, then everybody is a violent person. Then all of those protesters was violent. But if we talk about Black Lives Matter, oh, that's social injustice. Not everybody was violent. Not everybody was this. Nobody went to jail. Stop the motherfucking cap.
Tall, muscular. That's not what was in it.
Stop the mother. Even I, who didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2020, saw on TV you niggas was burning down goddamn everything in the fucking damn neighborhoods. Setting police cars on fire and everything. But every last person that went up there to the Capitol in January 6th was violent, insurrectionists, and should be put in jail.
This ain't love if it don't show up this way. But we want to reference.
Really?
What does the Bible say love is? Dr. Cheyenne.
It should be put in jail.
Patient. It's kind. It's long suffering. Never. If you don't question
that our democracy.
We're not done yet, because after this, I just heard about the clown show at the DNC forum. They trying to go and scramble and trying to come up with some new leaders, and I'm telling you right now, the leaders that they got as candidates, whew, boy, we gonna have fun for the next doggone 15 years. That's all I got. We gonna have fun for the next 15 years. That's all I got to say.
Democracy was really at risk. People were like, "Oh, Democrats, you're out there, you're gaslighting. It's not our democracy." Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025.
And he doing everything that the people asked him to do in the first place. Starting off with mass deportations. Starting off with that. Let's not forget, y'all asses were sitting there pushing this transgenderism on people, and they ain't like that. So they voted for him based off of that too, and the economy. So everything that you claiming that he's a dictator for doing, the people voted for.
He raised me to find a man of good character.
The people voted for him.
No, nothing like him, right? And so I found a man of good character.
If these people ain't the most stupid, dumb-ass, goddamn people I've ever seen in my life.
Relationship trying to navigate it, I would call my father constantly and say, although I'm not denying him of my body, right? Although I'm trying.
I've got to see in my life.
It's causing an internal struggle because I'm wanting the bread, and yet he's domesticated.
Like literally, come on, man.
And my father kept saying, he's a good man, baby, he's a good man, this man is faithful.
From down to the DEI complaints, all the way down to the Project 2025 talk, and all this bullshit about racism and everything. We got to do better than this, black folk. We got to do way better than this. We can't sit here and allow goofy black people like this and goofy black people like Al Sharpton to continue speaking for us in the first place. We got to do better than this. We got to do better than this. These people are stupid. They done turned around and they done went all the way into the plantation. They not on the field no more. They in the house. They in Massa's house, eating right next to him. Eating right next to him. And they call us the slaves. They call us the slaves.
Relationship, watering the relationship, he was okay where he was. You weren't okay where you were, so you go and spread your wings eagle. Okay? You spread your
We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans,
they were simply doing their job and basically trying to frame him for stuff that he didn't even commit.
I mean, we can assume that. Where is the
So they turn around and say, oh, they simply just doing their job. So election interference and all of that shit is them doing their job. Okay. This is why people is not buying that bullshit that she's spewing. Because when it come down to even the January 6th rioters, nobody's buying that shit. You talking about checks and balances? Yeah, y'all use those same checks and balances to try to kick him off the ballot. To basically try to kick him off the ballot in the first place. You basically, Fonnie Willis went to the White House. Well, Fonnie Willis' boyfriend went to the White House before all of that stuff broke out.
They don't say how much you make aside from your man. I'm sure they say, how much are you guys bringing in?
You know, and then the same thing with Letitia James. Tried to seize all his doggone property because she believed that he devalued the property of his own. He basically lied about the value of his property to the bank, which is something that she's not even supposed to be involved in, and she can't decide on whether or not he lied about the value of his property. That's something between him and the bank. In which the judge, in which we sat there, we watched this trial, and the judge specifically said no one was harmed, no one was robbed, he paid his loans back, and so the bank was okay with it. And so the bank was pretty much okay with it. Nobody was robbed, he wasn't, neither was the bank.
If I did not want this, why did I stay in this relationship? Why did I leave this person on? Why did I know that this person did not have the things that I know I wanted long term?
Oh, but I forgot. Since y'all niggas don't know how to do shit, you wouldn't know anything about what it is that you're talking about anyways.
Thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
Can you tell me what you're hearing about him from Republicans?
Bruh, I cannot, honestly, you guys have been divisive, pushing people away, calling people out their names, basically saying that everybody voted for him because of racism. You niggas is the one that's being super divisive. You niggas is the ones that's being super divisive.
So when I gasped with God, he spoke to me and said, it felt like he was looking at me. He spoke to me. He said,
wow.
There's qualities in you that won't allow you to have a man that you're
From colleagues that will speak to you off the record. Do they have concerns about him? No names, but are you hearing concerns?
Question these people when they say, God spoke to me, he told me, and everything that they say God told them, panders.
Somewhere between Denver and Moab,
it don't tell them.
where the scenery seems to be endless. That's when we wish our journey was endless too.
The Southwest refined. Rocky Mountain here.
It's something so small.
What the hell? No, my bad. I'm good.
God didn't tell you that shit, bitch. Your ego told you that damn shit.
I do hear concerns, and let me make sure that I get this timeline together for the American people. Number one, he was sworn in on January 20th. That was on a Monday. We were supposed to be in session from Tuesday to Friday of that week. They canceled our Friday votes. So we have only been in session Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of the week that he was sworn in. No other days. They decided to take advantage of the fact that Congress was not in and started to unravel and break as many things in our democracy as they could without us being here. But I can tell you that even when we went through the CR vote, there were Republicans that silently or in the background were cheering us on and saying this is wrong. Like they knew we had negotiated, and all of a sudden this guy who's not elected makes a tweet on Twitter. And so, no, can I tell you that Republicans want to see Elon go down? I can. Now, will they come out publicly and say that? No, because they're concerned about whether or not he'll spend money in their next elections. But there are some, but I need them to understand that this is their time to rise up and do what is right. This is the time to honor the oath that we all took. Listen, today I had to enter into agreement with Rand Paul, something that I never saw on my bingo card. But this is a guy who made it clear. This stupid tariff war is just that. It is dumb. And I have to agree, even when it's somebody like Rand Paul, I have to agree that he is absolutely correct.
Just specifically, what is Rand Paul saying that you said, yeah, I'm backing you up on this?
On the tariffs, he said that deciding to put these
but have no plan for how to fix the doggone border her damn self. Stupid.
He's being accused of cheating with 8 different women in January.
So how would you fix the doggone situation yourself if people ask you to fix immigration? How else would you fix it without mass deportations? Oh.
Tariffs on Mexico as well as Canada. I don't think we'll ever scream too loudly about tariffs on China, but that's a whole other issue. But he was saying that it is going to take the cost of things up and that we should just call it what it is. This is a tax. It is a tax on Americans. And his attitude about it was, allegedly, the Republicans don't like to do taxes. So why are we raising taxes on the American people? But that's exactly what it is. It's a tax on us. We are the ones that are going to pay.
Can I just ask you, didn't you hear Donald Trump say many times during the campaign he was going to lower prices for the American people? Won't this have the opposite effect?
Now, you know, I tried to ignore a lot of the things that he said, but yes, he did say that. He did tell that lie. And we know we've got historic prices right now on eggs for everybody that said they voted because of the price of it.
They came from Joe Biden.
Welcome back to Meet the Press.
But she ain't gonna say that though.
Thank you so much for being here.
They have only gone up, and just saying that you're going to lower something with only offering concepts of a plan was really the giveaway that he did not have a plan to help you lower the cost of food. Instead, as we are seeing these raids that are taking place, we know that we've heard from farmers that people aren't showing up to work. And the reality is that every single city that I've campaigned in, I would ask people, tell me how many of you plan on going into farming or sending your kids into farming. So you explain to me how that food is going to make it to the grocery store if there's no one that is actually willing to go out and work the fields. And now let's talk about the foods that we get out of Mexico, whether it's our avocados, whether it's our strawberries, the things that we import. Let's talk about what that's going to look like when Mexico says, oh, okay, well, they put a tariff on it. All that's being passed on to us. And then when it comes to people, especially in my state of Texas, where we are one of the largest traders in the world, not just the United States, but in the world, Texas is our own economy. And now our biggest trade partner, Mexico, is saying, you know what, we're going to slap these tariffs on. What does that mean? Those businesses that are doing trade are now going to be hit because people in Mexico may not be buying those items because now they are going to be too expensive.
It's always sobering to talk with you, I have to say, but you also managed to bring a smile to my face with your energy and personality. So thanks. Gotta say thanks for that as well. Representative Jasmine Crockett, we'll see you again soon.
Well, we know she put a smile on your face. You look like one of them old bitter ass women that don't like men at all. So, and don't like order at all whatsoever. Well, we know he gonna sound the alarm on Trump's mass purge of government officials. Of course they will. A very dangerous moment. Yeah, a very dangerous moment for y'all asses because y'all losing y'all damn jobs. Wow.
I was in commercial banking. Now I'm in real estate private equity. It was a really big career move. I'm Tim. I'm getting my professional MBA from the SMU Cox School of Business. SMU Cox plugged me in. I made the right contacts that I never would have had. They helped me make the switch. A year into my MBA, and I have a new career, the career I wanted. The network at SMU Cox is a real difference maker. See what SMU Cox can do for you.
The rest of the world is equally as obsessed with this lawsuit now that they have dropped even more evidence and more proof, plus the timeline. I'm sure everybody is clawing through as much as I have.
It's a puzzle that runs through the pages of the Bible, a puzzle that challenges scholars, fascinates the curious, and brings hope to those who believe there's a bigger purpose in human history.
It may feel like
This
a year ago,
puzzle
feels like that
revolves
to me,
around
but the week started with the Trump administration releasing a memo that appeared to freeze all government spending. And that means every loan, every grant, all of it. They claim the pause was intended to root out, and this is a direct quote because I can't make this up, Marxist equity, transgenderism, and Green New Deal social engineering policies, whatever that means. And sure, that might have sounded great. Some MAGA diehards, I'm sure that's what it was written for. And some very online Republicans, just like the leading entire FBI or 3/4 of it might sound good. But when that funding freeze actually
So wait a minute, y'all. We gonna have something else to talk about too. Cause yeah, we just gonna have something else to talk about for you guys after this.
people across this country understandably freaked out. I mean, just listen to what local newscasts sounded like in the hours and days after that order.
The words that local agencies gave me today, chaotic and confusing.
Chaos and confusion.
Mass confusion.
Confusion. Even more confusion.
Widespread disruption in healthcare research, education programs, and other initiatives.
Several states, including Utah, reported error messages like this, warning of delays and/or rejections of payment.
Some Kansas City public service agencies couldn't access their federal fund portals.
Many local organizations tell us they are facing now an uncertain future.
If there's no change in the order, starting Monday, February 3rd, the building will be closed to children and staff.
You may have to lay people off or furlough them.
$14 million worth of projects that were coming into Kanawha County are on hold.
We really don't know what to expect. It's very scary.
Is Donald Trump saying no more? We're not going to be taken advantage of anymore. And I think it's important the president.
Here's why you should definitely publish your book. I believe this quote by Toni Morrison sums it up best. If there is a book you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it. Well, the first reason is to tell your story. The only reason why we are even able to know what happened to humankind 3,000 years ago is because somebody had the desire.
It turns out, I mean, even when people are mad at Washington or mad at Congress, they like the stuff government does. It turns out people need the stuff government does in their communities. And the Trump White House did not seem to have any idea whatsoever what they'd done or the impact it might actually have. I think I'm sensing a bit of a theme here. How about you?
Now, the next day, facing backlash from the American people and a federal judge, the White House kind of, sort of rescinded the memo, kind of, sort of, intentionally, in my view, making the situation even more confusing. And you may still be confused. But the whole thing was in keeping with their plan to just gut the federal government. And trust me, the thing is, the story is far from over. Because on Friday, a longtime, well-respected Treasury official was forced out of his job after a dispute with Elon Musk over granting him access to the federal payment system that is essentially the country's entire checkbook. I mean, the system is so sensitive that typically only a very small number of career officials have access to it. Paychecks to federal workers go through it. Social security checks and tax refunds go through it. And sensitive personal information about everyone who gets those payments is in there too. Well, yesterday, we learned that Elon Musk and his Doge posse have now been granted access to that federal payment system. So yeah, I know this all sounds scary, and I'm not here to minimize the impacts of a president gutting the federal government and taking a wrecking ball to the Department of Justice, but that's why we're going to keep talking about it. Luckily, I do think the country is realizing just how important government can be. And all it took, I hate that this is the case, was a president trying to stop everything the government does. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland. He's the ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee. He knows a lot about a lot of things, is my summary too. I have so many things I want to ask you about, but I just want to start with this purge of FBI officials and January 6th prosecutors. You said in a statement, if allowed to proceed, Trump's purge of our federal law enforcement workforce will expose America to authoritarianism and dictatorship. I mean, you are a constitutional law expert. You choose your words carefully. Talk to me more about your concern here and where you think this could land.
Well, the dictators always try to move in against the police to seize that function. If you look at what's happened, Trump pardoned 1,500 violent insurrectionists, Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, seditious conspiracists, people who attacked cops, violently assaulted officers. Then they appointed as the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia a guy who organized the January 6th violent festivities and assault and protest against the peaceful transfer of power, and has been an election denier. And now they're proceeding to sack prosecutors who were involved in prosecuting January 6th, even if they were assigned to it. It's not as if they volunteered for that. In a lot of cases, they were just assigned to do it. They're sacking them for having anything to do with it. And the attack on the FBI is extraordinary because for decades, it really has been an apolitical operation. There are Republicans who work there, independents, Democrats. They've served all administrations. And now, just because they were assigned to work on the most massive attack on the U.S. Capitol in American history and to prosecute cop assaulters, they're being fired. They're being investigated. And so there's this mass purge taking place, obviously coming from the top. What they're overriding and what we're standing on in the first wave of this is the civil service protections that people have. Even at the FBI, people have have to have a due process administrative hearing before they're fired. Nobody in the civil service can be fired because of political reasons. That's the whole reason we have a civil service. The civil service exists so people aren't fired for political reasons. And the only justification being given for any of these firings, whether we're talking about prosecutors, FBI agents, people in other agencies, is we feel like you can't get with the president's program. You can't serve him. Of course, they haven't been given a chance. So these are apolitical, professional civil service people. They've not been given the chance. They're just essentially accused of guilt by association for doing their jobs before. And that's an amazing thing. So it's a very dangerous moment for the American people because the professional independent civil service serves us. Mm-hmm. It's all of the laws and programs that Congress has adopted on behalf of the people, like Social Security. Like Medicare, like the national parks, like the FBI itself, like prosecution. And suddenly they are trying to bring it directly under the control of the president for political purposes.
I just said in the opening, I mean, this is an ongoing story. They're amazing. Reporters reporting on it, but there is this list that is reportedly being created that could be made public of people who have worked on these prosecutions, investigated them in a variety of ways. Are you concerned about that list becoming public and a target being on the backs of these people as the January 6th insurrectionists were released?
Well, Enrique Tarrio, who's a leader of the Proud Boys, has posted online, I think this morning, the name of an FBI agent demanding her investigation and her arrest for various imaginary crimes he thinks that she has committed. So we're in a situation now where the pardoned criminals believe that they've got more power, and they're probably right, with the new government than FBI agents, than law enforcement officials, and then prosecutors. And they want a complete purge of the government to bring everybody directly under mega control.
Don't do it! You can still earn income while learning how to code! But I'm a janitor! There's no experience required!
You mean anybody can do this?
Yes, all you have to do is click.
Lo único que yo deseo es quitar mucha basura del camino, limpiar la mesa y poder conversar con amplitud con los Estados Unidos y con mucha franqueza. Yo no aspiro a más nada.
Teddy Roosevelt became president, and he spent all of that money that was made from tariffs. The money was so enormous, and they built the thing called the Panama Canal. You might have read about this lately. It's become a hot subject because China essentially has taken it over, and we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let that happen. It was the biggest investment to this day ever made by the country. In other words, if you bring it up to modern day numbers, we spent money that we've never spent anything so much. We've never had so many people die. 38,000 people died building the Panama Canal 110 years ago. And they gave it away for $1. It's also one of the most profitable things ever built. You know, ships are lined up back to Florida trying to get through. We're not gonna let that happen.
En torno al tema del canal es imposible. Yo no puedo negociar y mucho menos abrir un proceso de negociación sobre el canal. Eso está sellado, el canal es de Panamá. Lo único que yo deseo es quitar mucha basura del camino, limpiar la mesa y poder conversar con amplitud con los Estados Unidos y con mucha franqueza. Yo no aspiro a más nada.
Get the benefits of being a driver at Brown Transportation. You'll receive guaranteed base pay, 401k with company matching, comprehensive insurance, and more.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has told Panama's President José Raúl Mulino to reduce Chinese influence over the Panama Canal. At talks in Panama City, Rubio said that if Mulino did not take action, the Trump administration would intervene. Mulino denied the existence of any such influence. He also said he would not negotiate with the U.S. over the canal's ownership. But he offered help repatriating some Panamanian migrants if the U.S. covered the cost. Maria Fernanda Bosmowski is Director, Impact and Operations and Lead for Central America at the think tank Atlantic Council, and she joins us now. Good to have you with us. So, Donald Trump's demanding that the Panama Canal should come back under U.S. control. Panama's president, however, has ruled out a canal debate, offering instead technical talks and also help on migration. Can they make a deal?
I think so. I think that the Panamanian government is very pro-US. They understand the need for a good working relationship with the United States. And we've seen that in the past, the United States and Panama have had a great working relationship. The president of Panama, José Raúl Mulino, has said several times that Panama's sovereignty and control over the canal is not up for negotiation. However, he has offered to show that there is no Chinese influence currently swaying over the operations of the canal. The main concern stems from two ports at either side of the waterway, one in the Pacific and one in the Atlantic. But that company is currently undergoing a financial audit that will show the degree or lack thereof of Chinese influence over the canal's operations.
Well, Marco Rubio says that China's influence around the Panama Canal is, quote, unacceptable. And President Mulino says that he won't renew the Panama-China agreement. Somehow that sounds like Panama is meeting the U.S. halfway.
I think they're meeting halfway. The president's comments were about Panama renewing their commitment to the Belt and Road Initiative. Panama initiated relations with China back in 2017. And already we saw a few years ago, China wanted to build an embassy near the canal. The U.S. had raised concerns. Panama stopped that. But the president of Panama also raised concerns with the United States. For many years, there have been important diplomatic posts in the U.S. embassy that have remained unfilled. And so that's created a vacuum where other powers like China have seen an opportunity to step in. So both sides have to yield, both sides have to work together in order to curb Chinese influence and investment in the canal and its surrounding ports.
Now, what's interesting also is that normally America's top diplomats have favored Europe or Asia for the first visits in office. Marco Rubio not only visited Panama now, he will also visit El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and the Dominican Republic. What can we read into this? Is this a strategic shift on the side of the United States? Does it have to do with the fact that Rubio is Cuban American? What do you think?
I think it's a mix of all of the above. It's really encouraging that the administration has prioritized the region and the neighborhood in which they live. As Marco Rubio said recently in an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, this is an America's first administration, and he's really showing that he's walking the talk. He's going to the region. He's meeting with very pragmatic leaders, and he's meeting them to talk about migration. He's meeting them to talk about security. These are issues that the governments in the countries care about. So it's not only U.S. interests. There is an opportunity here for striking win-win partnerships and agreements. Really, I think it was about time for the region to see the United States say, hey, we're here to help, let's work together, let's make this a better neighborhood and hemisphere.
So it's America first, including obviously Latin America as well. And of course, we know that the US and Panama share many common interests. You mentioned some of them already, stopping unauthorized migration, fighting criminal gangs, drug trafficking. At the same time, though, there is the issue with the Panama Canal and Chinese influence, as the US would say. And Marco Rubio said that the US would intervene if Panama doesn't deal with China's influence. Do you think the US is ready to harm those relations over the Panama Canal?
I don't think so. I think that, again, there is a willingness from both parties to find a middle ground. I think that Panama is putting evidence on the table that there is no Chinese control whatsoever over the canal. The canal is operated by Panama. The Panama Canal Authority is an independent agency that counts with its own engineers, Panamanian engineers. They operate the waterway. There are ports that are being controlled by other countries. It's not just China. It's not just the United States. There are some ports that are controlled by or that are owned by Singapore. So I think that at the end of the day, a very concrete way to address any concerns over any extra undue Chinese influence is for there to be more opportunities for US or Western investments to come into the canal.
All right, Maria Fernanda Bosmowski from the Atlantic Council, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your insights with us.
Thanks.
You guys can see it. Well, as you guys can see it, that is the thing that's going on in this world right now. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, welcome to the wedding, welcome home, Donald Trump. And people are not.
We out of here.
You. Next time you raise the alarm about something, if